Welcome to the Fearful Fright series, where we will be reading with our favorite green ghoul, Grimmer. Now sit back and enjoy this twisted tale. Today our story is called The First Haunting. Long before kingdoms rose from stone, before pyramids, before written laws, human beings huddled around firelight in caves and whispered about one thing more terrifying than death. Something that came back. The oldest ghost story ever told was not written in a book. It was carved into bone. And according to legend, it was never meant to be remembered. In 1921, archaeologist Elias Vey arrived in northern Iraq near the ruins of ancient Mesopotamia, close to where the earliest human civilizations once stood. The desert stretched forever beneath a bruised orange sky. Wind hissed through broken stones older than memory itself. Elias had spent his life studying the dead. Not mummies. Not kings. Fear. Every civilization, no matter how separated by oceans or time, shared one thing in common. Ghost stories. And the oldest known reference to a spirit had been found in Mesopotamian clay tablets nearly 4,000 years old. But Elias believed something even older existed. Something buried before history began. The locals refused to help him. One old shepherd spat into the sand when Elias mentioned the cave. "The first dead still waits there," the man whispered. Elias smiled politely. Superstition never bothered him. But the shepherd grabbed his arm hard enough to hurt. When man first learned fear, he said, trembling, it learned his name. The cave sat hidden within black cliffs several miles from camp. Elias entered with two assistants, Miriam Hale, a linguist from London, and Farid al-Karim, their local guide. The air inside smelled strange. Wet. Rotting. Like old water trapped underground for centuries. Their flashlight beams crawled across primitive paintings covering the walls. Human figures. Animals. Stars. And one shape repeated again and again. A tall black figure with white eyes. No mouth. No face. Just staring. Farid immediately backed away. "We should leave." Elias ignored him. "These paintings are older than Sumerian civilization," he whispered excitedly. "Possibly older than recorded language." Miriam stepped closer to one wall. "There's writing beneath the paintings. Not letters. Symbols. Jagged marks scratched into the stone with desperate force. As if whoever carved them had been terrified." Miriam translated slowly. "He comes after burial." Another line. "Do not speak near the dead." Then the first corpse opened its eyes. Farid went pale. "No." Elias laughed nervously. "Primitive mythology." But then Miriam found the final message. The scratches became frantic there. Almost unreadable. He followed us home. Silence settled over the cave. Then came a sound. A single wet inhale. Not from them. From deeper in the darkness. Farid dropped his lantern. "We leave now." They descended anyway. Curiosity is sometimes stronger than fear. That is why humans open doors that should remain sealed. The deeper tunnels became impossibly ancient. Walls turned smooth like melted wax. Bones littered the floor. Not animal bones. Human. Thousands of them. Some fused into the rock itself. Elias knelt beside one skeleton. Its skull was split open from the inside. As though something had pushed outward. Miriam whispered, "How old are these?" Elias shook his head slowly. "Older than agriculture." Farid began praying under his breath. Then they found the chamber. Huge. Circular. Its ceiling vanished into darkness above. At the center stood a stone pit surrounded by handprints painted in dried black pigment. Not paint. Blood. Ancient blood. Elias stepped forward carefully. Inside the pit lay a body. Perfectly preserved. Not wrapped like a mummy. Not buried. Displayed. Its skin looked gray and leathery, stretched tightly across its bones. Its eyes were closed. Its mouth hung open unnaturally wide. And around its neck hung small human teeth threaded into a necklace. Miriam stared in horror. This can't be real. Elias's excitement overwhelmed his caution. This may be the oldest human burial ever discovered. Then Farid whispered something trembling. No burial. What? Farid pointed toward the walls. The paintings here were clearer. Hundreds of tiny human figures fleeing from a tall dark shape. But the shape wasn't chasing them. It was standing among them. Watching. Waiting. And above the creature were symbols Miriam translated with growing dread. Before kings. Before language. Before fire. It walked. Then Elias noticed something horrifying. The figure in the pit matched the paintings exactly. The same elongated limbs. The same empty eyes. The same mouth. Suddenly Miriam gasped. The chest. The corpse's chest was slowly rising. Breathing. Farid screamed first. He bolted toward the tunnel. Elias stumbled backward in disbelief. The corpse's eyes opened. Pure white. No pupils. No emotion. Just endless pale emptiness. Then its jaw cracked wider. Wider. Far wider than humanly possible. A voice emerged from inside it. Not spoken. Remembered. Like hearing words inside your own skull. Who speaks near the dead? Every torch exploded out at once. Darkness swallowed the chamber. Farid's screams echoed through the tunnels. Then stopped abruptly. Crunching sounds followed. Wet tearing. Elias fumbled desperately for his flashlight. When it flickered on, Miriam was gone. Only her notebook remained beside the pit. And something stood at the edge of the light. Tall. Bent unnaturally. Its limbs too long. Skin hanging like old cloth. Its white eyes reflected the flashlight beam. Then Elias noticed the worst part. Its shadow moved differently than its body. The shadow twitched and crawled independently across the walls. Like something trapped beneath the light. The creature tilted its head. Bones cracked loudly. Then it mimicked Miriam's voice perfectly. Elias, help me. He ran. The tunnels became a nightmare maze. Behind him echoed footsteps that sounded wrong. Too many joints bending. Sometimes crawling. Sometimes walking. Sometimes directly beside him. Voices whispered from the dark. Farid. Miriam. His dead father. All begging him to stop running. At one point the tunnel opened into a cavern filled with ancient handprints. Thousands upon thousands of them. Adults. Children. Entire families. All smeared in blood. And every handprint pointed deeper inward. Toward the thing following him. Elias realized the horrifying truth. This wasn't a tomb. It was a prison. Built by the first humans. For the first thing they ever feared. He finally escaped near dawn. Bleeding. Half mad. Alone. The camp was empty. No workers. No camels. No signs of life. Just silence. Then Elias saw footprints surrounding every tent. Bare human footprints. Hundreds of them. All leading nowhere. As though people had simply vanished while standing still. Inside Miriam's tent, he found her notebook. A new message had been written across the pages in blood. We brought it back. Authorities dismissed his story. They found no cave. No ruins. No bodies. Nothing. Elias became obsessed. He spent years trying to relocate the site. But deserts change. Storms bury things. And some places do not wish to be found. His journals grew increasingly unstable. He claimed to hear breathing in empty rooms. Claimed shadows stared at him. Claimed dead people whispered from mirrors. Then came his final journal entry in 1934. Investigators found it beside his bed after neighbors reported screaming from his apartment. The room was locked from the inside. Elias was gone. Only the journal remained open to the last page. It read, "I understand now. The first ghost story was not created to explain death. It was a warning. Something saw the first human die. And it learned how to wear us afterward." Quote. Below the message was a final line written shakily over and over again. "It is oldest because it is still here. It is oldest because it is still here. It is oldest because it is still here." Years later, historians translated newer fragments from ancient Mesopotamian tablets. One line appeared repeatedly across multiple ruins. A phrase feared enough to survive thousands of years. Not a prayer. Not a curse. A warning. When the white-eyed one is seen, pretend not to notice. Because once it knows you can see it, it follows you home. And according to some archaeologists, that ancient figure appears in cave paintings separated by tens of thousands of years. Always the same shape. Watching from the background. Standing behind hunters. Behind children. Behind the dying. In places no human should have painted. As though humanity has never truly been alone. Even now. If you wake suddenly at night and see a dark figure standing silently in the corner of your room, do not stare at its face. Do not speak. And whatever you do, do not acknowledge the white eyes. Because the oldest ghost story in human history may not be a story at all.